I'm going to leave that there so that I can explain the 12-foot lead. Now, the first question I get with most people is why 12 feet? I'll tell you what, 6-foot leads have been traditional for many, many years, and a lot of people still use them. 12-foot rope, again, there's nothing wrong with it, but you lose a lot of versatility. And when a horse gets in trouble, I'll tell you what, it doesn't take much to happen, and you wish that horse was another 6 foot away from you having trouble, but you could still have a hold of that rope. So there's a wonderful saying, to have it and not need it, rather than need it and not have it. So 12-foot rope gives you a lot of versatility. And again, this rope is designed for communication. One of the other questions I get a lot of times is, why do I prefer a clip? Sometimes people say, well, I want to get that rope, but without a clip. Let me tell you, in my opinion, the benefits of having a clip. Number one is that there's a lot of weight in that clip. So the horse has the opportunity to follow a more effective feel. That horse, when I'm starting colts or something like that, you'll see a little colt that's never pulled on, never even knows it can pull on you. I wish every horse never learned they could pull on the human. Wouldn't that be ideal? But they'll feel the weight of that clip and they'll follow it. They'll learn how to keep the weight of that clip hanging straight up and down. So the weight of the clip helps the horse understand the direction that you're asking it to go before you ever make contact with the nose. The other thing is people say, well, I don't like a clip because it can break. Well, you know what? If you don't have a clip and you have this kind of rope on that kind of halter, there is so much tension there that the horse could pull a horse trailer and it would not break. I want a breaking point for my horse. If my horse gets in a wreck and there's that much pressure to break that clip, I'd rather this break than something give in my horse's vertebrae. Okay? So I'd rather come back to a horse grazing 20 feet away, healthy, than come back and see that my horse pulled back, but he's still tied there, but he's never really right again. So again, that's just my personal preference there. The other thing is, you'll notice when I pick up my lead line, this piece right here is pretty loose on that clip. So I want that piece to turn. See, my rope picks up first, then the clip, then the halter. And again, the weight of that clip allows me to give the release back even faster. So there's lots of benefits. And a lot of times people, everybody has their own personal preference, and this one is mine. I prefer having a clip. Now, this rope is, and I see lots of 12-foot lead ropes, and some of them are made pretty nice. But one of the things a lot of people don't know that needs to be done on a rope that's designed for communication is the rope needs to be finished. In fact, the folks that make these, when I first got their equipment, I said, "You're not finishing your rope." And they said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, well, a finish on a rope is when, and again, these are big trade secrets, once you put the clip on, you put that clip onto an eye hook in the wall, and then you take a piece of leather on toggles and you stretch that, you form kind of a figure eight around it, and you stretch. This rope has a skin and then a core to it, and you stretch the skin down over the core on a 12-foot line, you'll get about this much skin that's hanging down without the cord. And then that's where you cut it and then weight the end of this. On a 22-foot line, you'll get that much, and then that's where you cut it. And the reason you do that is because then it creates a different density to the rope, so you have a different feel or life to that rope. See, that rope is not soggy. I've seen ropes that just look like overcooked noodles. Once you overcook noodles, you can't go, okay, well, let's reverse this somehow. It's soggy, and you just got to throw them out and start over or try to feed it to the kids anyway. So you want to have your ropes set up so that there's a certain feel to them. Now, when I hold these ropes, people say, well, 12-foot line feels too long, I'll get tangled up in it. And you know what? You might. But that's part of what I do on my DVDs when I'm instructing people. You'll notice how I hold this rope is I put one simple fold in this. And when I'm interacting with a horse, that horse, I'm going to want him to get far away. I'm going to take that rope and just have it on the ground in one straight piece right there. If I pick it up, I'm going to pick it up, again, put one simple fold. I have a 6-foot rope again. But I'm not, if I fold it any more than that, now I only have a 25% chance of getting a hold of the right rope if something should go wrong. Okay, if I double it, that's 1/16. Okay, if I wrap it around myself, then you're really in trouble. So I like to mention these things every chance that I get, because I don't think it's emphasized enough. And unless you're told that, people, just really don't know. And I see people walking around with lead ropes, in all kinds of positions. So safety with ropes is really, really important. We understand it in boats and things like that, but not always with horses until you get into trouble. So I want to keep you this side of trouble. So like I said before, the end of this is weighted. There's a little popper on the end. This is not for any kind of whip or anything. It just makes a noise. When you spin it fast, you can hear it cut through the air and make that kind of a sound. It's weighted so that you have an accuracy. If you're using the end of your rope for rhythmic pressure, there's an accuracy to it, like tying a rock to the end of a string, okay, or putting a weight on the end of a fishing line. You have more accuracy in your throw. So again, I see people, make shortcuts. They say, well, what's the big deal with that? They just cut it, finish it, melt it, all kinds of things. Something else to know is both the halter and the lead are made out of yachting rope or marine rope. So that kind of rope is designed to resist water and salt, which is what sweat is. So these ropes, when you first get them, they feel a little bit slick, a little bit synthetic. You wish you kind of had your cotton rope there. But actually, if you look, the more you use it, this is my string. I carry a string on me all the time. But if you look at this string, this has had a lot of use. It stays in good shape. It actually gets a better feel the more you use it. So I kind of joke with people, if you don't like your rope and don't know what to do with it, you don't want to get it dirty, just do this. Just put it on the ground and just step on it and stomp on it, drag it behind the tractor for a week, because that rope will actually get better the dirtier that it gets. And it's kind of hard. We want to keep our ropes all clean and white. You know what? You really don't. So these ropes are designed with that yachting braid to really hold up to a lot of abuse. I've had ropes that they don't break, they don't, everything just stays intact, and I use them for years and years and years and years. That's why investing in the right kind of tools not only gives you the benefit of the communication, but it's an investment. You don't have to keep buying stuff. So when you buy, it doesn't take very long in horses to realize that cheap isn't cheap, because then it breaks and you have problems. And believe me, with horses, you don't want to put yourself at a disadvantage. Other sports, tennis, golf, knitting, crochet, who cares? Who cares if you get cheap stuff in the beginning? Usually you don't say, oh yeah, she died in a sewing accident, But with horses, if you don't have your communication going well with a horse, you can get into trouble really pretty fast. If everything's going good for you, you can still get in trouble pretty fast. So everything, your knowledge and your tools, both are designed to minimize your risk with horse, increase your enjoyment with horses. Please don't think, well, I've got to, save money on, lattes or something. Do not save money here. And believe me, if I could bring these prices down, I would, because I certainly understand that. But the investment of your tools, I just have not had anybody that says, you know what, it's not worth it. If anything, I get people that go, man, I thought it was expensive, but boy, is it worth it. So I'm just sharing that with you, and try it. Again, anything that you buy from me, if you go, you know what, it's not my preference, I found something I like better, and if you don't get my equipment, at least you're educated and knowledgeable about it, and you may find something that works better. And if you do, tell me about it, because I'm always looking to find a better way. But if I see something and I ask them, okay, why do you have it designed this way? Why do you have that? Sometimes I get answers like, well, then you can really get after them. And I just go, okay, that's not my philosophy. It's not in alignment. But again, I'm always looking. So please understand, you and I are doing the same thing. I've just been doing this maybe longer, or maybe I'm explaining it in a way that it hasn't been explained to you before. So that's the halter and the 12-foot line. Hopefully that helps give you a little more education on what those tools are used for, how they're designed, and how they can help you with your horse. One thing about this clip, it's a little bit different. It's called a barrel snap, because this barrel part will twist and this piece will open. The reason I prefer that over a bull snap is because if a horse is hung up on a bull snap, you have to get the pressure off before you can get the horse undone. So with this barrel snap, even if it's under pressure, I can still turn this barrel piece and have a possibility of getting that horse out without cutting my rope or breaking my clip. So I wanted to explain that little piece right there.